just starting our chapter on double-digit subtraction. And I know you had a little homework last night with it. And so today we're going to continue talking about it so that we're ready and we're prepared to do it the correct way. But before we start that, I want to talk about what are some ways that we use subtraction in our real life. Every day, maybe when you're with your family, with your friends, when do you use subtraction?
Sometimes in the car.
In the car? When you're doing what in the car?
Homework.
Okay, if you're doing your homework, you're using subtraction. Elena?
Like, sort of if you're sharing something.
Sharing something, and why would you need to use subtraction?
Because, like, if it's double digit.
Any kind of subtraction. It doesn't have to be double digit.
And if it's kind of 12 plus 9 is 13, you can get back of it. And then if there's someone left out, like how it equals 1, you can give it to them.
Okay.
Someone that's younger if they don't.
Okay. Think about real life things though. Think things that you do maybe. Different ways. You can do it on your homework and you can do it when you're working on double digit subtraction with your friends. When else can you do it, Evan?
Just for fun at home.
Okay, just for fun, like working on them at home or?
Like walking around at home.
Okay.
While we're playing video games, because there's this game where you can subtract players and add players.
Oh,
it's
so
called Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Do you have to know how many players are on each team?
No, there's no teams. We work together.
Oh, okay. Alright, so maybe when you're playing video games, Zachary?
When you're using flashcards.
When you're using flashcards, Mary?
Normal games.
Any normal games? What about, do you use subtraction maybe when you are cooking?
No.
Think about when you're cooking
Yes.
and you have a big thing of something, I don't know.
Chocolate chips.
Okay, you're making chocolate chips and maybe you want to count up all the chips and mom just gives you a whole pile of chips, of chocolate chips, and you only need 13 of those. You can count them out and then you have some that are left over, right? And that is your answer. That's the difference between if you need 13 and you have 7 left over. Do you have any ways you can use subtraction?
You can use it when you're building.
When you're building? How do you use it when you're building?
Because maybe this worker gives you a pile of boards and it has 15 and you only need 13.
Okay, so you got to figure out how many that you don't need, right? Okay.
Like if you like in the train track that we have in our yard, you could get rid of one and then you can subtract like 10 minus 1 equals 9.
Okay, figure out how many's left over because you're subtracting 10 minus 1 equals 9, yes.
You could do it if you're at a store, if you had allowed one thing and somebody wanted it and there was none left at the store, then you could give them one.
Yes, so you're kind of separating things. You had maybe 5 notebooks and they needed a notebook. So how many do you have left over? 4, because they needed one. Elena?
If you're like over a friend's house or you have a friend over, I think you should pursue. You have a friend over and you have like 20 of something that they don't have and you give 10 to them.
Okay, so then that's kind of subtracting too, because you're separating, you're making equal groups of something. We do subtraction in our classroom when we are using our marker board, doing marker board games. You can do it then. Cubes to find out how many more you need of something. In a sense, the first step is kind of the same double digit as double digit addition. So what do we do when we want to figure out 20 minus 10? What's our first step, Nolan?
To minus the ones, take away the ones.
Okay, how do I figure out which side's the ones?
The side on the Y.
Yeah, how do I know which one's the ones? Or is this the ones or this the ones? What do I I do? Remember double-digit addition? What did we do?
You remember the second number?
Okay, you can always remember, but what helps you a little bit easier to see it, Rebecca?
You draw a line down the middle.
You draw a line down the middle, and that separates the tens from the ones. So now I know, here's the 10 side, here's the 1 side. So, Nolan, you said to subtract the ones first, right?
Mhm.
So 0 minus 0 is 0. Then you go over to the 10 side.
2 minus 1 is 1.
Very good. So our answer is 10. So your teacher, whomever is giving you the money back, the teachers over at the book fair or at Walmart, if you were buying something, they'll give you the change back, the $10. Sometimes it can be tricky, and that's what we're going to talk about. Sometimes double-digit subtraction can be tricky. So if it is, something is 47 minus 39. Okay? So I know, just because Rebecca told me, let's put that down. I draw a line down the middle to separate what, Jack? What am I separating?
The 10s and the 1s.
The 10s and the 1s. So can I take 9 from 7? No, I can't take 9 from 7. So my job is to break up one of my 10 side. So I have a little poem that goes with this, and we talked about it a little bit the other day. And the poem is, more on top, no need to stop. So is there more on top? No, we're not going to do that part of the poem. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. So is that what we have to do over here? So I need to go over to the 10 side. I take 10 of them, so this becomes what? If I'm taking 10 from this 40, how much is left, Evan? 3. So actually it's 30 now. So that 10 comes over to this side, and the number becomes 17. So 17 minus 9 is what? What's 17 minus 9? 8. So I go over to my 10 side. What's 3 minus 3? 0. So 47 minus 39 is 8. Our difference, the answer, is 8. This is going to take practice to make perfect. Okay, so first we're going to start out with a little bit easier double-digit subtractions, so that we're going to try to do more that are just on the top, no need to stop, because the number is bigger on the top than it is on the bottom. So I'm going to give you a marker board, and what we're going to do is we're going to play showdown. So if you need to, all right, set it up and figure it out.
What's the number again?
34 minus 12. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Showdown. Alright, what's our steps? Who can tell us our steps? We did fantastic. What's the first thing we have to do? Rebecca?
Add the 1s and draw a line down the middle.
Draw a line down the middle to separate the 10s from the 1s. Then what's my next step?
You add the 1s.
Do I add or subtract?
Oh, subtract.
Subtract the 1s, Peter. So I subtract the 1s. So 4 minus 2 is 2. Then what, Rebecca?
Subtract 3 minus 1 is 2.
3 minus 1 equals 2. Yes, Jack?
Could you write subtract up here so don't forget when it's subtracting?
If you need to write that up at top or draw the minus sign, you can. All right, erase your board. Okay, I want the number 68 minus 7. 68 minus 7.
these fast. Do we have like a job like?
Keep it in your brain. You don't want anybody hearing you, right? All right. And
Wait.
showdown. All right, what's our answer? What is our answer?